Hello all, my name is Krishna and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to show you how you can learn data science in a much smarter way with the help of reverse engineering. Now this particular term I've used in most of my videos because reverse engineering is a technique which is a much smarter way which will help you to learn data science quickly as possible. Now I know that many of you have the information about data science, you have started learning about data science, you're towards a career transition towards data science itself, right? And you may have word of different types of problem statement with respect to regression, classification, and all the different techniques in reinforcement learning technique and unsupervised machine learning also. Now, usually when you have this much idea, I'm going to suggest you how you can actually do a reverse engineering whenever you have a particular use case. And trust me guys, this particular technique will always work if you follow this particular strategy. Now, what do I mean by reverse engineering? Now suppose you're learning for the linear regression for the first time. And I like to combine all the data life cycle of a data science project. That basically means it is not like I'll be studying statistics separately, I'll be studying math separately, I'll be studying the algorithm separately, but instead I like to combine everything. I like to combine everything so that it gives me more and more information with respect to that use case that I'm talking about. Now initially suppose I have a use case over here. Right now, when I have a use case, now just see how I'm actually saying that what is exactly reverse engineering over here. Now in this particular use case, suppose this use case is a regression problem statement and I am trying to learn linear regression. Okay, so I'm trying to learn a linear regression, which is the most basic and the first algorithm that you'll learn. Okay, now in this particular use case, I want to predict based on my years of experience, what is my salary. I want to do this. How to predict this. Now understand guys, I have my data set. Suppose my data set has 10 to 15 features. I'm just taking as an example. Now first step, what I do is that I do some kind of brainstorming. I understand about the data, what exactly it is, whether that many features is required, and usually if I'm solving a Kaggle problem, in most of the case my data set will be readily available, right? So if your data set is not available, definitely brainstorming is done with the help of stakeholders, with the help of some domain expertise people, so that more and more information you get, and based on that particular information you'll be able to collect the data also. Now this is the most important step. As soon as I get the data set guys, I directly jump to the feature engineering. Now when I say feature engineering, there are a whole lot of things. I try to handle the missing values, right? Right? Then there is a whole lot of things like missing values are there. I'll see that how is the distribution of the data. Okay, and if you know about feature engineering guys, 30% of your whole time in this particular project, suppose to complete this particular project I take around 3 months, which is my 100% time. What I do is that I am spending more than 30% of the time over here, because if this step is done properly, I think you will get a very good accuracy. So I try to handle the missing values. I try to do the normalization, standardization, scale down the values based on the algorithm that I'm trying to use, and all the necessary techniques that are actually involving in the feature engineering steps. That all I do. If there is some category features in this particular data set, I try to handle that. Now you need to understand guys, me as a data scientist, I'm working from past so many years. I've made a very good clean sheet. It is just like a sheet. I know I have actually collected all the techniques of handling the category feature. So that is there in my rule book. So as soon as I get the data set, and suppose if one of my feature has multiple categories, many number of categories like pin code, I have a way of handling that. I know that particular way, and how this is basically done, I have explored it earlier, right? So now see, I am trying to learn this linear regression, but I am including some amount of knowledge in feature engineering. I go and explore over here that what are the possible techniques of handling the missing values, what are the possible techniques of handling the category feature, what if my category features have many number of categories like pin code, right? And there are still many ways to do that. Category features can also be converted into dummy variables. It can also be converted into some other values also through various ways. And I know all those particular technique. And I know which technique to apply when. And that is only possible when you try to apply that skills. And the reason why I'm good at that, because I've solved many use cases. I've not separately done algorithm. I've not learned it separately. But instead, when I was learning this, I had always included this step in my learning path. So this is very, very much important guys. So feature engineering, missing values, you do normalization, you do standardization, normalization, standardization. You try to handle the category feature. So I'll just write it down, handle the category feature. This is also very, very important. And suppose if this is a classification problem, there may be also a problem of imbalanced data set. Now usually you will be thinking that now I'll jump to the feature selection, right? You may be thinking that, but I don't apply that way. After this, I go and directly select a model. Okay, now while selecting the model, because initially whenever I'm solving the problem, I'll make sure that I select all the features. I don't have to put my head too much over here, because I may come back. I'll tell you when do I come back to this particular step. That is very important to understand. So I go to my model selection or model creation, and I know suddenly I'm doing a linear regression problem. Right now, linear regression problem, suppose I'm solving with the help of linear regression, and again there are different types of regression problem also, like decision tree regression, right, random forest regression, XGBoost regression, and I can select off one of them with the help of cross validation, with the help of grid search CV, with the help of randomized search CV. Nowadays I'm also using AutoML to select the right kind of parameters inside that particular model. But now we are trying to discuss, okay, if I'm using the linear regression, now I'll try to understand the maths, how that particular maths is getting applied to this particular data set. Okay, now I created a dummy model over here, suppose of linear regression, by not using any parameters, and I got some accuracy. Then what I do is that I try to implement with the help of lasso regression. There is another concept of lasso regression, right? And here, before this, in the feature engineering, I'll do one step that is called as something called as pair plot. The pair plot will actually give you, and it is present in the Seaborn library. It will show me that how the data is actually distributed. And once I know that, I'll definitely say that whether I want to apply linear regression or whether I want to go with decision tree regression or random forest or XGBoost regression. Because understand guys, with this linear regression, you'll just be able to create a straight line, best fit line as a straight line, right? Suppose I just try to draw a smaller diagram. Suppose this is my data point. With the linear regression line, you'll be able to create a best fit line, right? But with other regression algorithm like decision tree, XGBoost, random forest, you'll be able to create a non-linear best fit line. And again, this may lead to overfitting and underfitting. That is actually handled by your grid search CV, randomized search CV, because they select the right kind of parameters that are present inside the machine learning algorithm. Now to make my model run more faster, I'm also using AutoML, because if you use AutoML, it will help you to find out the right parameters that are present inside that particular model. And that is how I am doing it. Now suppose I have applied linear regression, I did lasso regression, right, ridge regression if I want, I got a good accuracy. Suppose I did not get a good accuracy. Now what should I do? Or suppose I got some accuracy which is somewhere around 80%. Now I'll think that I can increase it, right? Now in order to increase it, what I do is that I go back to the feature selection. You may be confused why I did not just go to the feature selection. Just understand guys, I don't want to put that step in the first step. I only want to do feature selection only when my model accuracy is not that good, or if I want to increase my model accuracy more. Now I'll go back to the feature selection. There are a whole lot of different concepts over here. Like you have extra tree classifier, you have techniques like correlation, Pearson correlation, and again, the thing that I told about pair plot, it actually considers it actually displays the data. It shows that how the data is actually correlated with each and every feature. Now in this correlation, I would like to consider two things, for the independent feature and for the dependent feature. Now suppose if I have two independent features like x comma y, okay, suppose two independent features are there and this is my z, right? Now suppose I know that these two independent features are 90% correlated. That basically means this feature is similar to this feature, right? This feature is similar to this feature, right? So what I can do, I can drop one of the feature because I don't require it, because both of them are similar. They are actually correlated to each other in a similar way, right? And if I have something like x and y, and if this is correlated with z in a higher way, in a higher way basically means suppose it is correlated more than 90%, then I'll keep those features. Suppose if those features are not correlated, it is somewhere 0, I can drop that feature also. Suppose I have some w feature which is hardly 0% correlated. Suppose, just let me take an exam, I'll try to drop this kind of feature. And I have uploaded many videos regarding it, that how you can actually do this. I have given an example of extra tree classifier also, where it will help you to select the right kind of features that are much important, which is also called as feature importance. Okay, so this extra fee helps you to do that. And again, there's a video in my playlist, you can go and watch that. Now when I do this particular step, then again I go back to this and I see whether my model is getting increased or not, and definitely it will increase because now I'm seeing some more additional things, right? And because of that, I'll definitely get a very good accuracy. Now I'll not stop here. Again, I'm telling you, this is my first algorithm, regression, linear regression. Okay, I'll not stop here. I'll go and do the model deployment. Now when I'm learning this, guys, I'm including every life cycle of a data science project. That basically means if I luckily go to an interview and somebody asks me about linear regression, I'll say him completely from end to end till the model deployment, and I can actually write down the code in front of him because I have followed the process in a much more better way. This is how I do the reverse engineering. Now in this particular thing, I'm just not learning linear regression. I'm learning this feature engineering. I'm learning this feature selection. I'm doing the model selection. And finally, I'm doing the model deployment. And that is the work of a data scientist. You should have knowledge in all these particular sectors. So this is how you should actually learn through reverse engineering. Reverse engineering is a much smarter way, guys. Previously, I was a hard worker. I'll not say that I was a smart worker, but I introduced this recipe of smart work in my hard work. It is really helping me a lot, and it will definitely help you also. So this was all about this particular video. I hope you like this particular video. Please do subscribe to the channel if you are not already subscribed. I'll see you all in the next video. Have a great day ahead. Thank you one and all.